Welcome back to the very, very late night show. I'm your host like every night, LB, and right now we got two of the biggest stars in the world right now. I mean, we can't go anywhere without hearing their names. Now, you two usually keep it private, but you're about to open up and tell us how you're feeling.
Hey cousins, and welcome to another edition of Blended Conversations.
So, if you've been with us thus far on our journey, we want to first thank you for returning, and to all of our new extended family, our new cousins joining our journey. Thank you for tuning in. All right, so this week our question is, how do you make a blended family work? So by the end of this video, you will learn what we collectively decided were our three major contributing factors to how we made our blended family work. And hopefully it'll be helpful to you. All right, so you want to start with point number one?
So the first point we decided we wanted to touch on was how to make our relationship a priority. When you're attempting to blend a family, it's very easy to lose sight of the importance of the adult relationship. Everything is mainly focused on the children and their comfortability and the new process or the new family dynamic, and rightfully so, because children do come first. But at the same time, you don't want to lose sight of your partner in this whole experience, because
How it all
exactly, you can't see, what is it, you don't know your future if you don't know your past, or something like that. Anyway, the point is you don't want to lose sight of your beginnings, which is with your partner. You don't want to become comfortable in this new family dynamic, and fellas, stop doing the things that you did to initially sweep her off her feet and woo her. Just because you guys have this new family dynamic. Ladies, don't get comfortable in the fact that you have a partner now and start to get comfortable in that role, and don't think that you have to do things that you did to keep him entertained or intrigued. So definitely, I believe that's probably one of the biggest things, is don't forget. I know in our relationship, at times, especially in the beginning, we definitely lost sight of what it was that what it was that brought us together in the first place, because we were so worried about our children and them getting along and making sure that we were doing the right thing for them. And
sorry, I didn't cut you off, but it kind of brought a little strain on us by losing sight.
Yeah, it definitely brought strain to our relationship, not having that intimate time with just us to strengthen our bond and to focus on our progression as a couple. So I definitely think that taking the time, even if it's just one night out the week, for you guys to just be alone and reconfirm or have that affirmation of why you guys started and why you're so lucky to be with that person. I definitely think that that's something that needs to be done in order to make a blended family work. What about you?
I feel the same way. In our situation specifically, I felt it was easier for me, or I was the one that mainly lost sight of that, because I was so focused on the kids and worried about blending us. Not to say that I totally disregarded us, but that kind of got put on the back burner unintentionally, where, in hindsight, he did attempt to make those efforts, and it wasn't that I ignored it, but I just felt, okay, this is where our priority is right now, and not really realizing that we are the foundation of it in the first place. So we have to remain strong and have that bond in order for the blended family dynamic to last regardless. So yeah, pretty much same thing you said.
Right. I just want to take this time right now to tell Nettie how much I appreciate her. And just sitting here doing this, it really makes me think back to why I love her. Her sitting here smelling like shea butter and just for me is really distracting me and causing me to forget what I want to say. So little things like that, guys, little cheesy stuff like that, that make your woman feel important. And number one, making the relationship a priority. So what's number two, Tanita?
Number 2 is managing finances. That's a big one for us. It's totally different coming from being that single parent and managing those finances to blending your financial situation. Naturally, with the family growing, finances change a little. They grow.
Right.
So, actually taking that time, even honestly beforehand, I feel, which I wish we would have done before we decided to decide how you're going to handle your finances. Are you going to open up a joint account together to put bill money in? Are you going to split finances or bills, or are you going to pay some together, some remain separate? Like, that's something I feel is a conversation that should really be had before moving in together. I think that would kind of ease the process a little bit, where we just kind of decided, hey, we're going to move in together, and from there we'll just figure it out.
Right. I think it definitely would have saved a lot of heartache and arguments if we have done that. I believe that by naturally assuming roles in the relationship as far as finances are concerned, you're setting yourself up for failure. So definitely communication is key in any relationship, but when it comes to finances, and especially in that blended family, you definitely want to make sure that you have that communication. I know coming from a single parent home where I was providing for Dab, and I knew how much money I was making, I knew how many bills I had, I knew how much money, if any money, I had after those checks were gone and all those bills were paid. So coming from that mindset to now factoring in, of course, me being a man and take care of my responsibilities, I'm going to take care of Tanita as well as Leilani. So trying to figure out how to re-budget off of the same income was a big adjustment. And I could have did a better job of conveying, hey, I'm stressing out trying to cover all these bills off this income.
It's that pride.
And made that known to her versus trying to internalize it and just figure out a way, because I'm sitting here counting pennies and she comes home with 3 or 4 bags of weave. But I'm sitting here trying to figure out how I'm gonna pay the cable bill. It can cause resentment, and it definitely caused issues. So once we discussed that, once we came up with a budget that we both agreed upon, that we decided that we wanted to stick to, and we knew our roles. Hey, you're responsible for this. I'm responsible for this. We definitely started moving forward and saw a change in our relationship and in our blended family. So.
And also more so here recently, since Little Peanut is on the way, discussing or actually making that effort of budgeting to save as well. Not just worrying about paying bills, but also being able to budget to put money aside as well together. So, it's still a process we're learning, but we definitely made a lot of progress.
Yeah, we definitely made a lot of strides. We came to the conclusion we actually agreed upon. We actually now have our first joint account.
Yes.
So we're making steps in the right direction. So recap: 1, making the relationship a priority. Don't forget where you came from. Make sure that you guys take that time together alone from the kids to appreciate each other, love on each other, let each other know how much you mean to each other. And remember, don't take the other one for granted. 2, definitely make sure you, or what was 2?
How to finance, communicating your finances. How are you
Correct.
going to handle your finances as one?
Right. Making that communication, taking that step to adjust as far as the new financial responsibilities in the blended home can be challenging, but definitely communicate that, express your concerns, how you're feeling. Don't assume that the other partner knows, and don't be inconsiderate to the other partner's feelings in regards to spending habits. Budget. If you guys see it as being feasible, get a joint account. Clearly define your roles in the home as far as what's going to be paid by who, and that brings us to our third and final contributing factor on how to make a blended family work, and that is
Thinking about what type of blended family do you want?
bingo.
You know, and by that I mean, as far as the kids are concerned, you know, not trying to force a relationship between them. You know, naturally in the beginning, there may be some standoffish, especially if they're used to being only children like ours were. Not trying to force a relationship between the two, but also, you know, setting that time aside or doing activities as a family that will have them bond organically. You know, be it movie night, game night, any type of activity together. It's something as simple as sitting them down at the table doing homework together. That's something that actually we both have them do, sit at the counter and do homework together. We have dinner together. Just making that time to intentionally
Be a family.
yeah, basically. Yeah, and not forcing it upon them. I think if you force it, it won't be genuine, and if you let them develop that time or that relationship on their own, it'll be more of a deeper connection later on. Like, which we noticed with them here lately. Like, they'll come to us and one will mention the other or say something sweet about the other without the other even knowing. So yeah.
Another factor, or not even factor, but contributing point to thinking about what type of blended family you would like, it actually just hit me. I think you need to take that as literal as can be. Think about what type of blended family you want to be. So when you're thinking about what type of blended family you want to be, for me, it was what type of father do I want to be? What direction do I see my family going in? How do I see myself being a partner to Nita? How do I see myself being a father to Leilani? I already know what type of father I am to Davin, but so that pretty much wraps up our video. Our 3 contributing factors, again, were number 1, keeping the relationship a priority, not losing sight of one another as far as the adults, what it took for you to get here and why you decided to get here. Number 2, having a good communication in regards to finances, how you guys are going to be responsible for them. Merging them, coming from single parent homes to a blended family, can be challenging. Make sure you guys discuss that, your roles, how you foresee that happening, and how you would like for it to look. And 3, finally,
What type of blended family do you want?
And 3, finally, what type of blended family do you want? Make sure that you're asking yourself these questions. Make sure you're discussing this with your partner. Don't rush the kids into blending a family because that can derail the whole thing. Let it happen organically. And I think by following these contributing factors or by assessing these factors, you'll be very successful in blending your family.
Yes, I would agree. And not to say that these are the only, these were just what we felt were the top 3 and the most important.
Right. So if you found any value in this week's blended conversation, make sure you give us a big thumbs up. Please like, please comment,
subscribe.
Share this video with your friends, your families, anybody that you know who are in a blended family or are looking to blend a family. You can follow us on Instagram at Blended Bryants as well as Facebook. And we appreciate you cousins coming back and spending time with your extended family, the Blended Bryants.
And don't forget to email your questions to blendedbryants@gmail.com.
As always, thank you for stopping by and see you next time.